Here it is. Good morning, Red Army, or afternoon, or evening, depending where you're at right now. This is Case, aka Face, doing this for 1878 Casuals. Brought to you by ACJ, part of the LA Red Army. Just got through watching the the Munich tribute, the Munich Memorial. It was put on by the Munich 58. Wonderful organization ran by a gentleman by the name Mike and a lady named Ellen, but they both couldn't be there. So Rev John, Rev John, he led the ceremonies, did a magnificent job, opened it out with a beautiful poem. The thing that I appreciate about this memorial is everybody's involved, everybody's represented. First of all, the people who were there in attendance, you had Fergie, Sir Alex Ferguson, you had the mayor of Manchester, you had Sir Jim Ratcliffe was there, which was good to see, because I don't think the Glazers have ever been in attendance. Maybe they were in the early years, but I can't remember, and I know they definitely weren't there in the later years. But it's good to see that Sir Jim was there, present, showing homage, showing reverence and respect, and understanding that the Munich tragedy is part of the fabric of the club. It's one of the engines that drives this club to be who we are, a club of strength, a club of character, a club who never quits, a club that no matter what, the DNA has to be there. No matter what, someone on the pitch has to represent the DNA. So that's why I always talk about the Busby Babes. That's why I respect that we've always had an academy player involved with the first team for like the last 60 or 70 years of this.
I don't see the guys here. It won't be a normal week.
Yeah, I know. I told them to get an office. So that stuff is brilliant to see. The ceremonies went on like this. Is basically you had a song by a gentleman by Pete. Well, Rev John led the ceremonies and introduced a gentleman Pete who sang a beautiful song, "The Flowers of Manchester." Then there was a poem by a representative from one of the supporters group. Beautiful poem. What I love about the songs and the poems is the detail. Not one person is left out. Not one situation was left out. They talk about what everybody was going through on the plane. They talk about what went on through the crash. They talked about what people saw after the crash. They talked about what people went through in recovery. It talked about what the country went through. It talked about what the club went through. It talked about what the world went through, what the opposing teams went through, and so forth. So it's a beautiful, well documented, well detailed. Every song, every poem is well documented, well detailed. They don't leave everything out. You feel the emotion, you feel the hurt, you feel the triumph, you feel the resurgence, you feel the hope, and it's all in there. So that's one thing I think every supporter. For me, things like this make me love the Manchester United Football Club much better. It's easier for me to say that I fell in really, really, really. First of all, Manchester United was always on the TV in Jamaica, in the household. My father and my mother, they would talk about Manchester United Football Club, and it's easy to say for me. I really fell in love with the club when I, in my youth, start to realize who David Beckham was and the class of '92, and so that drew me into the club. But then once you get these initial things to draw in your club, you might be a player, it might be the color of the kit, it might be, I don't know, seeing them play for the first time, the first team you probably see on a U.S. tour, whatever it may be. I think you have to become part of the club and respect any team you support. You have to know the history. Try to learn the history. Understand what the heritage is, why the lineage, why the team is like this. And the Munich tragedy is one of those things where as tragic as it may be, I love the club even more. You know, the club could have folded and not play after that, and accepted players from all over, and basically just took all the charity you could get. But no, they went within the academy, fielded the team, understood they were going to take their lumps, but play with no fear. Play with flair, passion, power, pace, things like that, and let that happen organically. That's why some teams you can't respect them. I'm not going to say any names, but you come and buy championships. You go and you just buy things, and everybody wants to say, "Oh, you're a great club." No, you're not a great club. You don't have history. You did it organically. So don't be mad that our supporters are stronger than whoever they may be. Our supporters understand that this club has been through tragedy, and this club has come to the forefront and risen again like a phoenix. So I love the Munich Memorial. I've not been out there to witness it, or been ex part of it, or been to Munich, or been to Manchester like today for the ceremonies, but I will. And I think every supporter should be part of it. So basically that's why this makes me love the club more. Things like this, to see the strength, the power. And it's relevant in today's time. We could be upset that our team is not playing at its best. But what they went through, they lost the team. And it didn't matter. Because they knew one day the team will be back. Because the people who survived had so much character and so much strength and wanted to get back on the field that it had to happen. Hold on, please. Yeah, right here, next to the record thing. Yeah. So sorry. So they knew by Sir Bobby Charlton being alive that was going to happen. Mr. Bugsby, it was going to happen. Because those people were strong enough to resurrect themselves and lead the team. Now, I know I'm leaving out names, but work is looking at me. So I advise everybody to see it. I mean, the proceeding went well. It was beautiful. Pete sang a song. Like I said, there was a poem. The wreaths were, then they had a parade of wreaths where first the coaches came out, Coach Skinner from the ladies team, and Coach Eric Ten Hag from the men's team, the first team coaches, and the captains were represented from the women's first team and the men's first team. You had Katie and Bruno. Then you had the wreath represented by the Academy, young Joe, who also did a poem in the beginning. He did a beautiful job for a 13-year-old. Our Academy, one thing they do, they make sure the Academy, the 13 and unders, the scholars they call them, understand the importance of Munich. So it's taught to them. So guys like Mason, Marcus, and I know I said Mason, but I'm just going to say Scotty, Garnacho, they're all taught the history and the importance of the Munich tragedy, and they all have to go there and be part of the ceremony. So that's good to see that the youth is part of it, that the captains and the coaches. And then they did a roll of honor where they basically named everybody, went into description who these people are as individuals. Beautiful thing. Everybody had their own personal tribute. So it's not, there's nobody can walk away and feel like my family member is not part of this. My family member, they just talked about the players. No, everybody's equally represented and paid respect and reverence. And then they ended with some songs and poems. And then Rev John ended it and, for giving a salute to the gentlemen, Mike and Ellen, who weren't there, who are represented, who lead the Munich 58. So salute the Munich 58. They did a beautiful job, as they do every year. And salute the. They also saluted the staff who helped put it on there at Trafford. It's just a magnificent, breathtaking, emotional. I mean, there's moment. I don't see any United fan who could watch that and not feel some type of emotion. And I encourage everybody to watch the memorial. I did put it on our page, on our Facebook page. You have to watch it, understand it, feel it. Every year, watch it, understand, feel it. And the more you watch it, the more you're going to love the club more, and the more you're going to understand that we'll never die. That's why we'll never die. We keep the red flag flying high. We're Man United. We'll never die. That's one of my favorite songs. That song, and it has everything to do with Munich, and it's one of my favorite songs. You know, even when we're losing, I'll put that little song in my head. I know sometimes it's hard, sometimes it's difficult, sometimes you want to be, fuck this, but we have to remember this club's been through a lot worse, and we will rise again. We will prosper again, because our supporters will support. Our players will understand what's going on. This new regime, surging, being there and present, makes me feel like this DNA will be resurrected. I have to have a cautious faith with the new regime. I have to believe we'll rise again. And the Munich Memorial has put all that perspective. So I enjoyed it. It was about an hour. I did it during my work. It was tough. Visually, I listened to it, but I couldn't really watch it. But I took the time out. I did. Anything I missed, I would listen to it again. But I encourage, and I would hope every Manchester United supporter who watches this video, who's part of this Facebook group, that you watch the Munich Memorial and take the moment to put reverence to the club. And I guarantee you, once you listen to it, it'll put everything in perspective. It'll make you not feel like, that things are so bad. 4 weeks ago, we were talking about this club is going down. We're not going to win the match again. Now look what happened. We brought Kobe to the fold, Garnacho's awake, and then you have Rasmus, youngsters. Rasmus is not a Busby Babe, but Kobe and Garnacho are, and they're leading the charge. They're leading the hope, the youth. And that's all Manchester United is really about. We're really all about our youth. That's why I post videos about our U18s who have not lost a match in their league. They did lose in the FA Cup, but I can't believe it. We won't talk about that. So that's why the youth is important. That's why I get emotional about when we send away young talent from the academy. At first, every time we send someone away, I get a little emotional. And I get a little pissed off, but then you realize the situation and you analyze it and you say it's probably good for the player. But I'm the type of guy, I would feel all 11 be academy graduates. I'm that ignorant. That's why I can't coach the club, because I would go like that. Because I believe if we feel all academy graduates, we'll win something. And maybe my ignorance is bliss. Maybe I'm guilty to a fault, but that's the way I am. So, watch the memorial. It's posted on this page. I loved it. It's emotional. Makes me love the club more. Makes me more upbeat, because it ain't that bad for us right now. It really ain't. We have Cadillac problems. Trust. All right? Case, 1878 Casuals. Salute to ACJ, Red Devil Threads, Moo Moo Mia Ice Cream, those Atlantic Reds, those Casual Red Show, everybody who watch and support, everybody I see at the pub, everybody I see at the matches, everybody I see when we go away on road trips. Up the fucking Reds, and we keep the red flag flying high, because Man United will never die. Watch it, please, people. Have a good day. It is the 66th anniversary, 1958, February 6th is when it all happened.